I got in a fight one time with a really big guy and he said, "I'm gonna mop the floor with your face." I said, "You'll be sorry." He said, "Oh yeah? Why?" And I said, "Well, you won't be able to get into the corners very well." A guy called Emo Phillips said that. He didn't, however, explain all about passive mobs in Minecraft. Chicken refers to a couple of things in Minecraft, a mob and an item. Right now, we're only looking at the mob. Check the video at the end of this video for more about the item. The chicken mob is a passive creature within Minecraft, enjoying the dubious honour of being the weakest mob in the game, bar the tiny slime, and being the only mob in the overworld that can fly. It's also the only source of the raw chicken item, always dropping 1 upon death. It will also drop between 0 and 2 feathers, which are useful for making arrows. However, like sheep, it's also useful to keep some chickens alive, because every 5 or 10 minutes, a chicken will lay an egg. Eggs can be used in making cakes, or for throwing like a dirty yobbo. Each thrown egg has 1 in 8 chance of hatching into a chick, and if you don't approve of throwing livestock, you can also breed 2 chickens using 2 pieces of wheat in the usual way. Mushrooms are crazy mobs in Minecraft. They are red and white spotted cows with red toadstools sprouting out of the back of them. They can be sheared with shears, which will produce between 2 and 5 mushrooms and turn them back into normal cows. Or they can be right-clicked with a wooden bowl, which will give you 1 mushroom stew. Therefore, they're useful to have as a renewable food source. If you kill them, they drop leather and steak like ordinary cows, and they can be milked with a bucket just like ordinary cows too. They live in a special biome known as the giant mushroom biome, a bizarre place full of mycelium and giant red and white mushrooms. If you breed 2 mushrooms together, they produce a baby mushrooms. These babbies can't give you stew and can't be sheared until fully grown, but you can milk them right away. Snow golem is Minecraft's answer to the snowman. It's made using 2 snow blocks and a pumpkin or jack-o'-lantern, but be careful. Because it's made of snow, it'll die very quickly in the hot desert or the humid jungle biomes. Snow golems are your friends because they'll hasten towards any hostile mobs in your area and begin to throw snowballs at them. This is next to useless, however, because the snowballs deal no damage, only serving to knock the hostile mob back. This can, however, lead to some interesting defense ideas, such as this one, or this one. In certain biomes, snow golems will leave a trail of snow wherever they go, making snowball farming very quick and easy once you've learned how to use it. Because they're made out of snow, the snow golems will take damage when they're touched by water, either as rain or on the ground, so be careful where you build your freezing friend.
The snow golem's main use is to keep enemies away, which you can do in a turret, i.e. a protected area around your house where the snow golems can throw snowballs at mobs but not be attacked. There are 2 sorts of turrets: pushing turrets, where you can push mobs away from the house, and pulling turrets, used to lure mobs towards a death trap. Pushing turrets are easier but won't harm mobs in and of themselves. If you stick some snow golems behind fences in your house, they'll keep it clear. If you want to kill the mobs, go for a pulling turret. Have a pit of lava between your 1 snow golem and the mob. As the golem attacks the mob, it'll aggro it into the lava. The pulling turret requires less golems but is weaker against multiple mobs. Of course, you can also use snow golems offensively. A mob will aggro towards them rather than you, letting you attack them at will. Lastly, you can gather vast amounts of snow with the snow golem by placing them in a hole and digging up the snow that they deposit.
Ocelots are a shy passive mob in Minecraft, to everything but chickens that is, and they're found in the jungle biome. They'll run away if you chase them, but if you hold really still with a raw fish in your hand, they'll stalk slowly towards you. Once they're within 5 blocks of you, if you feed them some pieces of raw fish, they'll become tamed.
Sheep are passive mobs that walk around happily in-game eating grass. They supply you with wool, which you can get off them either by shearing them or killing them. Shearing a sheep requires shears, obviously, and you can get between 1 and 3 pieces of wool. Killing the sheep is less profitable, getting you only 1 wool, but it's more useful early on in the game when you don't have the materials for shears. Sheep will eat tall grass and over time will grow their wool back again. Sheep, like a lot of other animals in Minecraft, will mate with each other if you feed them both wheat, and then after a short time will produce a baby animal. Sheep naturally occur in a few different colours: white, black, grey, brown and pink. Each colour of sheep will give that colour of wool when they're sheared or killed. Sheep can also be dyed in different colours with dye, and will then yield that colour of wool. This is a good way to get lots of dyed wool. Iron golems are mobs in Minecraft that spawn and lumber around NPC villages. Their purpose is to protect the hapless and defenceless NPC villagers from the undead zombies. If any tormenting toughies try to tackle the timid townsfolk, the golem will bash the brain-dead bullies until they re-die. As well as spawning, the iron golem can be made using iron blocks and a pumpkin head placed in this configuration. As each iron block is made using 9 iron ingots, it means it takes 36 iron ingots to make each iron golem. They make up for this expensive recipe by having the second highest number of hit points of all of the mobs in the game, only beaten by the Ender Dragon. Not only this, they do between 3.5 and 10.5 hearts of damage. And be careful, if you attack a villager, or the naturally spawning golem itself, you too will face its wrath with big bashy arms. If you do succeed in killing one, it'll drop between 3 and 5 iron ingots and up to 2 roses.
Of course, iron golems will spawn in a large village with at least 10 villagers and 21 houses. You can also create them using iron blocks and a pumpkin. Now, they all attack hostile mobs, apart from creepers, making them great guard dogs, especially if you have a guard cat as well for the nasty green blowy-uppy thingies. They are similar to wolves in this purpose, but are stronger and have many more hit points. The downside is, of course, that they cost more resources, can't be bred, and won't focus on defending you as much as killing everything they can. You can put them on a lead and take them around with you, or tie them to a post outside your house. Because of their size, they are quite slow, and although they don't take fall or drowning damage, they can get stuck underwater sometimes. You can make an iron golem farm to collect iron ingots.
Cows are a friendly mob that spawn randomly in Minecraft. They are found in almost all the biomes as long as there is grass to spawn on. They are the biggest of the friendly animals, but are slightly less common than pigs, sheep or chickens. This is because they drop between 1 and 3 raw steak when you kill them, more than the other animals drop. They'll also drop between 0 and 2 pieces of leather. You can also get milk off a cow if you approach it and right-click with a bucket in your hand, like so. Like a lot of other friendly mobs, they can be bred to produce a baby cow, but both of the cows have udders, so really the calf is adopted. The calf will grow into an adult cow in 1 Minecraft day, or about 20 minutes, and until they do, the parent cows will follow the little baby calf around. If you kill cows with fire, then they drop some cooked steak instead of raw steak. There's a second type of cow called the mushroom. Ugh. Anyway, that aside, the squid is a passive mob in Minecraft that lives in the water. So far, it's the only fully water mob, as well as having 8 tentacles instead of 4 like real-life squids. The mob also has teeth in its back end, which are purely aesthetic because squids can't harm the player. When you kill a squid, it'll drop between 1 and 3 ink sacs used in dyeing wool and making books. As they move along, their 8 tentacles open and close, giving the appearance of a propulsion. Seeing that they're water mobs, they won't be affected by currents, but they are pretty weak swimmers. Because squids can spawn in any size and depth of water, they'll sometimes spawn in your pools, and you'll get a sad-eyed squid staring dolefully at you. To hear more about their drop, the ink sacs are mobs in Minecraft added in Update 1.6. They spawn in plains biomes and act much like real horses, even down to different markings. When you first meet a horse, it's wild. The first step is to tame it. This is done by approaching the horse and right-clicking with an empty hand. You'll get on and get thrown straight back off again. Don't worry, this will happen a few times. Then the horse will change its mind, hearts will appear, and it will be tamed. Then you can get off the horse and shift right-click to open its inventory. Place a saddle in the saddle slot and remount your horse. You can also equip horse armor as well, to give the horse armor. Breeding is possible with horses too, by feeding them a golden apple. And in all cases, the offspring of the 2 horses has better stats than them, including speed, health, and jump strength. Speaking of jump strength, you can charge up a horse's jump by pressing space until the bar below is full with bouncy effect. Horses can also go up 1 block inclines, making riding them easier. However, be careful, they hate water, and while they'll go in 2 blocks of water, they won't go any deeper.
When they're tame, they turn into one of these furry felines, a Siamese, a black cat and a ginger tabby. Your tamed cat will follow you around, and they'll sit on demand. Annoyingly, they'll try to sit on your chests, your beds, and your active furnaces, and you can't open chests while they do. They'll also breed with other cats, once both have been fed with raw fish again. Their most useful feature, however, is that they scare away the explosive mob, the creeper. A creeper will take one look at the fierce, ferocious feline, feel frightened, and flee fast. Villagers are passive NPCs or non-playable characters that are found wandering around their villagery home. They have large heads and big saggy noses. No one really knows why. There are 5 villagers currently in the game: the farmer, the librarian, the priest, the blacksmith, and the butcher. Villagers will trade with the player if you right-click on them, and they make different offers depending on their profession. Villagers can and will mate when there's not many of them in the village. This happens the same way as farm animals mating, and the resulting villager children are tiny and will run around speedily chasing each other. Villagers will run indoors at night and close the doors, and it's just as well as zombies will come and try to knock the doors down. To protect them, there's the Iron Golem, not technically a villager, but still a friendly face around the village.
Rabbits are mobs in Minecraft as they're mostly passive. They come in many colours and will hop and bound around your world. However, if you go near them, they'll avoid you like the ocelot do. They can be tamed using carrots, and again you have to remain still like with the ocelot. Once tamed, they can be bred with both types of carrots or dandelions. Like horses, the baby will be the same colouring as the parents. When killed, rabbits drop rabbit hide, rabbit meat, and sometimes a rabbit's foot. Wild rabbits, if they get into your farmland, will find your carrot and destroy them. There's a very, very rare hostile rabbit, the killer rabbit of Caerbannog, which has a dangerous attack. Those who know their Monty Python will instantly get the reference, but don't treat this rabbit lightly. In fact, it might confuse it if you run away a bit more. Go and change your arm.
Yeah, pigs are a passive mob in Minecraft, and although there's no bacon in the game yet, sad face, they are the sole suppliers of the raw pork item. They're pink and they're sort of derpy looking and drop between 0 and 2 raw pork upon death. Unless, of course, you kill them with fire, in which case it's 0 to 2 cooked pork chops. Yummy. Something slightly strange about the pig mob is that if you get a saddle from the dungeon chest, you can right-click on the pig and ride it around. It's a bit bizarre, but the pig gets its own back because there's no way to steer it. In fact, there is an achievement in Minecraft for riding off a cliff on the back of a pig. Like most other passive mobs, pigs can be bred, and a tiny but big-headed piglet will be spawned. Interesting fact, the creepy crackly C4 filled mob the Creeper is actually a failed early pig model. Wolves are neutral mobs in Minecraft, introduced in Update 1.4. They are found in 3 different biomes, the forest, the pine forest, and the Tasia biomes. They travel in packs and will ignore you at first, but if you attack them, then they'll turn hostile. However, they can also be tamed using a few bones. Once the wolf is tamed, a red collar appears, and it will follow you around unless you right-click on it and tell it to sit. Tamed wolves will attack whatever you're attacking, with the exception of creepers. This makes them a good ally in PvP servers and against monsters. If you travel too far away from the wolf and it's not sitting, it will teleport to you, just like any faithful doggy companion should. Keep an eye on the wolf's tail though, because how high the tail points is an indication of how much health the wolf has. If it has poor or low health, feed it with some meat. This will also put the wolf into breeding mode, where hearts come out of its head. As with all other friendly mobs, once 2 nearby wolves are in breeding mode, they'll come together and poof, a baby wolf will appear.